Today, we have the privilege of interviewing a dynamic leader with over 2 decades of experience in information technology, cybersecurity, and project management. Nick Kuriger played a pivotal role in driving innovation and efficiency. He spearheaded a transformative initiative including cloud migration and cybersecurity enhancement, resulting in substantial cost saving and operational excellence for the state bar. Nick, thank you very much for your time. Welcome to the podcast. For our viewers, could you talk a little bit about your journey and your current role as a leader at the state bar?
Early on in my life, I was in the United States Navy. I got into technology and IT because of some mistakes that were made, and somebody lost some data that I had that was very important. And from then on, I said, I'm going to get my own computer and do things my way. And so from there, I learned computers and IT, and then I focused my studies on information technology, and I haven't stopped since then. That was before the turn of the century. So I've been involved in technology since the late 90s.
Amazing. Already a lot of discussion you have about cybersecurity. You put a lot of posts and you did a lot of certification. Could you talk a little bit more about your initiative at the state bar regarding the cybersecurity and your strategies?
Sure.
How you employ
Sure. Cybersecurity is very important to me on many different levels, and outside of the Virginia State Bar here, being a state organization, it's important for us to make sure that our constituents' data is secure. And so often that's not done in state and local governments. So coming from a background in cybersecurity and being a cybersecurity professor, I do look very closely at that. And some of my activities off of being with Virginia State Bar deal with that. In fact, I'm a member of the 31st Cyber Battalion for the Virginia Defense Force. And that's one of our goals, is to go out and help Virginia localities, cities, counties assess their security maturity.
Could you talk a little bit more about how it actually ended up in the savings for any firm or any other organization?
Moving to the cloud has really helped us save a great deal of money. Everybody's heard of server rooms. Many companies, many small businesses have server rooms. My goal right now is to have a serverless server room, and I'm getting pretty close. If you were to come by my office, I'd give you a tour. In fact, I had a Microsoft rep here yesterday that we're working with to help us move towards that, and she was amazed. So one of the biggest things was to move our enterprise applications to the cloud, and CloudMinter helped us out with that with Litify. That was a huge part of it, because not only did we have database servers, application servers, we had this large document management system that was actually at this day and age, most of it was hardware servers with and they weren't virtual, and they contained a whole server rack in our server room. So just by moving those things to the cloud, we don't have to worry about the licenses that we were paying for that document management system. We don't have to worry about the hardware warranties on that hardware. We were able to turn off one of our ACs in our server room, and that cost by just about half, with also turning off the servers. And that really, moving those enterprise systems to the cloud, it gave us an opportunity to take a look at all of our infrastructure. And we said, well, why do we have any of this now? Because everything that we really need is in the cloud. So let's do this. Let's get rid of Active Directory and use Entra ID. Let's get rid of domain joined PCs and users. And that's what we're in the process of doing. I'm talking to you right now on a intra joined Surface laptop, and I am no longer in our Active Directory. So I've been deleted out of our Active Directory, and we're taking steps to continue to do that. And all because we were able to move our line of business applications up to the cloud. And because of that, it's really reduced, when it comes to cybersecurity, our attack surface. So I'm no longer worried about having SQL Server databases down here in on-prem and trying to make sure that they're protected, and I'm patching them, I'm patching the operating systems. That's no longer something that is something that we have to do, because that's in Salesforce. Salesforce is taking care of that. What we're worried about now is making sure our identity is safe and making sure we're doing everything we can with the data that's in there to make that safe. And again, that actually falls back to identity. And by using CASB, basically cloud application security brokers through Microsoft, we're ensuring that we have single sign-on and our identities are protected by multi-factor authentication. So we're feeling pretty good about where we are, and it's going to make things so much better next time we get audited by our state auditor.
So, how your leadership inspire and motivate your team to achieve goals effectively?
With our Litify project, we had some great subject matter experts, and we're a state bar, and how we implement Litify is much different than what a law firm would do. But we have such talented folks in our clerks department and in our discipline department, knowing exactly what they need. And they have a technology, the ones that we had involved in the project, technically orientated and interested in advancing past what we currently have had. So I think that really a lot of it comes down to that, and then just making sure that for me, everybody's doing their tasks, and they made it really easy for me. So I can't take too much credit for it. I'd have to give the credit to our team, and also really Cloud Mentor. You guys did a great job. So after I came on board, I would say 9 months before we went live. And during that time frame, we had a shift in our project manager on your side, and you brought in Dakota. And I got to say, Dakota did a great job. Very quickly understood what we needed. And geez, if you're giving me any compliments on how I did the project, I'd have to pass it back to you guys and Dakota.
Thank you. Really appreciated that. I'll pass your compliment to Dakota for sure. How you measure Cloud Mentor contribution to the success of this project?
Oh, how do I measure it? Well, we couldn't have done it without you. That's how I measure it. It's either it's very binary. It's either 0 or a 1. So without you, 0. With you, 1. So that's how I measure it. It's and you Cloud Mentor really is the only Litify consulting or partner that has had the experience with other state bars. And I mentioned earlier, we are different than a normal law firm and much more complex. So we're a government entity that has certain regulatory mandates that we have to provide. And Litify now and Cloud Mentor, you're understanding this because you're working not just with us, but with other state bars. And it would be very difficult to move to anything else now at this point too. So we're grateful for that. The fact that you're getting the knowledge from other state bars and passing it on to us, but probably it's the other way around because I think we probably implemented things more and you're passing it back on to them. But
Yeah.
And that's fine because I talk to the technology leaders at these state bars, and we do share information. So it's a two-way.
How competent was Cloud Mentor in handling this complex implementation solution like Salesforce and Litify?
Sure, I think they are and have been very very competent, and so we know that. And that's why we want to continue our relationship with you because that you are highly competent and you've learned us. We've only been live since August, so not quite a whole year, and we we know that everything isn't done. We've got lots of pieces and parts. Part of the move to the cloud was we moved our association management database up to the cloud and Litify, and that piece they must talk together, and that's a very big part of what Cloud Mentor is working on right now for us. And we need to make sure that we continue with that and continue our relationships with you. And as our users get more experienced with using Litify, they'll find they'll have questions on how they can work more, be more productive with how they're doing things, and bring those questions to Cloud Mentor, and I'm sure you'll be able to develop more ways to optimize and automate things for us in our workflows.
You signed a very long-term support contract with us after we went live. And first of all, thank you very much for that. What was your rationale behind that?
Well, so I've come from a background in having similar situations where I had association management database connected to a Salesforce implementation. And when we got done with our Salesforce implementation, the consultants on there said, "Okay, we're done. Do you accept it?" Yeah, we accept it, but we weren't really ready to work with it, and it probably took about 6 or so months before we were ready to, because we were busy with so many other things, and to look at it and work in it. And we struggled because some time had gone by. We hadn't implemented it, and we had lost that connection with the provider that built that system for us. And so we slowly got it up and running for us, and it turned out to be okay, but it was rough at the beginning. And we had additional questions after we went live, because you're not going to have everything working right when you go live. You actually have to start working in a product to make sure that you gotta to define the edges so you can sandpaper them down and make them nice and smooth. You're never going to have 100% at go live. That's just a fact. So having that experience, having that knowledge that I know that things weren't going to be 100% as soon as we were done, because not necessarily because of the work that you've done or anything with the product. It's just like, if users aren't using something, they don't necessarily know what they need and how they need it and how they want it to work. So you have to, when you go live with any system, you're going to have to realize that you're going to need to do some continuous development, continuous improvement for a period of time, probably forever. But at the beginning, you're going to have to do a lot more as more people come up and start using the system.
Anything else you want to share with our viewers, bar association who may be thinking about this to move to the new system? Advice to them and what they should be thinking and they should be doing.
Sure. Well, hopefully I'll have this video and I can maybe give it to my counterparts at other state bars, so they'll know to sign up with Litify and Cloud Mentor to deal with their case management issues. That would be the biggest thing I'd like to say. Just because by having more experience with entities like ourselves, we can grow and really optimize the Litify system. And that's what I continue to say to our Litify partners, that we'd like to see them pursue more state bars as some of their clients.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.